Bonjour, ici Benoît Mercier pour Fantasia, de l'autre côté de l'apocalypse. Aujourd'hui, on s'entretient avec le réalisateur Mitchell Stafiej et on parle de son film de DIABETIC, un film où on explore les banlieues et le passé qu'on y a laissé.
Hello? Hey, where are you at? It's really loud. I said, where are you at? It's really loud. Yeah.
The story about Alec, we're coming back to the suburb of his childhood. He's trying to recapture something from those glory days.
It's a pretty sad expression of who this person is, right?
When you peak in high school, you know?
Yeah, either peak in high school or you're trying to go back to a time where you just have no responsibilities and you can't accept your responsibilities as an adult. And I think for this character who's diabetic.
Is it something that you also feel about childhood or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a complicated relationship with the suburbs. I did grow up in the suburbs as well. I grew up in the West Island of Montreal, so in that respect, it's personal. But I personally hate the suburbs. I find them like this weird, it's not quite nature or not quite city. Yeah. It's this strange intermediate space that's not full culture, not full excitement. It exists somewhere in between.
It's like a stand-by town or something.
It doesn't know what it is,
exactly,
culturally, socially, or things like that. But my personal injection into the story was really the diabetic aspect. I'm type 1 diabetic.
Oh, okay.
Originally the story was just about a guy who isn't diabetic who just goes back home to get super wasted with friends and stuff, and we were going to shoot it in 2 nights or something like that. But we then, at the beginning of the pandemic, as we were in lockdown, I just started to sit alone with my own body. And as I showed the script to different people, we just started talking about how it would be important to infuse the story with this extra aspect of diabetes, and it would really enhance this character as well. So that's where I poured kind of all of my fears, anxieties about living with a chronic illness. As I was editing, I realized we needed more internal dialogue of the character. We needed to know more about what's going on in his own head, because without it, it felt like we were just in the night. We were just in the present, but we weren't really getting much of what was happening inside Alec's head. And so then I just started messing around in Premiere and things like that. And then I built these experimental and abstract sequences that gave us that extra layer that I felt the film and the character needed.
It's like, H.P. Lovecraft,
Yeah.
cosmic horror.
Yeah.
It's not cosmic horror, but it's not that far.
I wanted it to be nightmarish. That's what I want. Those sequences, those abstract sequences. I always call them nightmare sequences. So I definitely wanted it to feel uncomfortable.
It's pixelated, but I like this approach. It feels very real. A little bit of voyeur. And was it in post-production that you had that, or was it all real?
No, so we shot the film on old Hi8 cameras, partially out of necessity, but also in my career, I'm more interested in finding defining what the aesthetics of disability cinema are, because I find a lot of films look exactly the same and they don't represent what I as a disabled person. These films don't represent what I think a film should look like to represent me, to represent films that I want to look at. And I think for me, I want to use old, broken, discarded cameras that they themselves are disabled, like myself or other disabled people. So I was using those cameras for that reason. And then, obviously they're just old, crappy cameras, and you'll get these overblown areas of the frame. You can't really shoot in low light, but we did. And then following that, we transferred the film to 16 millimeter. Yeah, and these were cameras that the reason I got all these cameras was because the school I teach at was going to throw them out. So they were literally going to be discarded. And that's kind of the way I feel a lot, trying to navigate my disability in the world.
What's the behind the scene? Were you a tech guy, a camera guy and a sound guy, and that's it?
We did it for no money, right? So inherently it's Guerilla in that way. I was shooting with the other cinematographer, Beatrice, who also co-produced it with me. And then we had one sound guy, the actors, and a PA. And what I wanted it to feel like was just a bunch of people running around the suburbs like the 2 main characters, where I wanted all of us to be experiencing that. We all quarantined together because it was in COVID, so we were all living in my apartment, which I think we all really needed because we had all been in isolation and we really loved being close with each other. And then every night we would just hop in a van, go to the suburbs, run around all night, shoot, and then do it again the next day. I just loved being the kind of dumb idiots running around the street at 3 in the morning, making noise, or just destabilizing this quietness of this space just while making this film, right? And it's nice to go back and be no, let's bring something there, some excitement
that's
there
or
something.
To be there. Yeah. So good luck with the movie.
Thank you so much.
Hello?